What is going on, guys? Joey Friends here, Flex Training Systems, and today I have a video for you guys that I've been meaning to talk about for about a week now. I saw this, I don't even know what you could call it. I saw this online basically, and I saw someone giving advice. Right? Let's just say that I saw someone giving advice, and this someone was a very, 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 very special case. Right? Like there's no one like them. Right? Um, and they were giving advice as to how they got a particular lift as strong as it was. So, and I was listening to some of the things that they were saying, and it was like wild. It was like crazy stuff, crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. So, I don't want to drop names. I'm not here to. That doesn't even matter, right? That doesn't even matter. I'm just telling you guys what inspired it, right, or what inspired this video, which is gonna be provide some context to drive the force behind what I'm saying, right? Um, so we're gonna be taking a look at taking advice from people that are extremely gifted or are clear, genetic outliers or specifically built for a specific task. Um, I mean, obviously, no one's just built for like whatever forces that be that create humans aren't like we're gonna make this human for deadlifting or something, right? Um, but regardless, these individuals are like structural wise, like so things that are out of your control, things that you cannot change. They're just going to be like in the top 0.05 percentile of like all people that participate in said activity. Um, they may be one of a kind, you know what I mean? But the dangerous thing is about some of those people in that position, not all of them, but some of them, is that they can give advice telling what other people should do, and usually what they tell other people to do is just what they do. They shouldn't say, "Hey, you guys should do this." They should just say, "Yo, this is what I do. You can try it because it's a little bit safer." It's like, in general, you should just try different things and see what works, or you could have a smart person do it for you. But I'm just here to kind of expand on the topic of taking advice from people over the internet. You don't know their background, you don't know where they come from. That's why it's very important to do your research on people. You have to find out, have they worked with a lot of people? Are they speaking from personal experience? Do you take it with a grain of salt? I think if you take things that you see on the internet with a grain of salt, like you're aware of it and you kind of hear it, but you need to come up with some sort of conclusion or some sort of um, like experience on your own, or it's hard. It's hard because a lot of people they see a lot of things on the internet, so they kind of they trust these people or they associate a following with an authority on whatever the topic is. I think that responsible people with followings, like big followings, they're only going to speak on things that they feel that they are confident in, or not even that, because sometimes there's a little bit of delusion. It's they speak on things that are like they're responsible with their following. Basically, they know that like yes, I have a big following, but I know that my expertise is not in, for example, a service that they might outsource for. So, for example, Russ, for example, Russ is actually a great example because Russ has a big following, but we don't see Russ out there giving people like wild, crazy advice. As a matter of fact, whenever he gets a topic, maybe someone asks him a question like, "Hey, why don't we train legs?" or they ask him a question about bench or whatever. He has literally on numerous occasions. So the service that he outsources is his like powerlifting specific programming to me, right? So he'll literally have me come on, and then so like I consider myself an authority on the matter. I that which like qualifies me, like my results would qualify me to be able to speak on it, right? That's an example of a responsible. How are we talking about? Now we're talking about followings. It's a responsible use of your following, right? If people, whenever you have a following and you give out information, you have to be you have to be responsible with it. That's why YouTube is like literally taking people down for giving out incorrect information on the current situation that's affecting the entire planet right now. Because it can be irresponsible if what you're saying contradicts what authorities are saying on the matter. Obviously, like Instagram is like free speech; anybody can say anything, and no one's gonna die from. I mean, hopefully nobody dies from taking like incorrect lifting advice. But you have to do a lot of research on the person that you take advice from before you can say, all right, you know, this person has shown on numerous occasions that they know what they're talking about. I feel somewhat comfortable taking advice from them, right? I mean, that's the reason why a lot of you guys come to me is because you guys feel that way. Um, so I have a couple notes here, and just kind of like further expanding on the topic. Um, so the desire to become a good coach should come from inside, and a lot of people that are gifted in something, they're just always kind of good at it, right? They try it and they're just good. It's like how do you tell someone? Well, we could use basketball for example. How do I dunk, right? Well, there's two ways and then a combination of two ways. You're either tall, right? You're either like super tall and it's like not even hard for you to just lift your arm up, right? Or you train really, really, really hard at jumping and you devote your life to it and you do everything that you have to do to be able to do it, right? Obviously, if the goal is to dunk, we can equate pulling a world record deadlift or something like that, or a world record total, whatever, to like dunking, right? I mean, more people can dunk than do like a world record dunk. You guys know what I'm saying. But basically, some people are just going to be able to dunk. They're just going to be able to dunk. Like they barely hop and they just dunk the ball, right? Other people, like I said, they're going to have to devote every single bit of their being to being able to try to dunk, and they might get a couple dunks off, and they need to maintain that. They might get injury along the way. It's going to be like so hard for them to do it, right? It's not something easy. Drum training is fucking hard. I know because I used to do it back in the day, but um, you have to understand: is the person teaching me how to dunk, or in this case, is the person teaching me how to squat, bench, deadlift, someone who is like amazingly superiorly gifted and they're just telling me something kind of wild. I mean, you guys can kind of understand if they give you advice and you're like, wow, that sounds like contradictory to everything out there. I mean, it might be some weird shit, you know what I mean? It might not work for you. If it works for them, that just further shows, the gap between individuals, how different they are and how better suited for that specific task they are than you. So what you're going to have to do to achieve what they're achieving, or even close to it, you may never achieve what they're achieving. First off, um, they say hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, but when talent works hard, it's game over. That is true to some extent. That is absolutely true to some extent, and it's like sort of a factor that's out of our control. But if the goal is to bench like 315, at a certain body weight, and someone has like ridiculously short a short stroke on their bench and like a mega arch and an unbelievably small humerus, right? So the bone, it's like the bone that connects to your shoulder right before your forearm, right? Where your bicep is, right? Basically, if that's like super short and they have like big pecs and big triceps, obviously they're gonna bench that 315 a lot easier than someone who has crazy, crazy, crazy long arms, not very much muscle genetically and stuff like that, right? Maybe 315 was like they trained for a month and they bench 315. So you got to be careful who you take advice from. I think becoming an authority on a matter comes from like an internal um, desire to not only be good at something but to learn from it, right? So you need to. It's not that you want to be good at something, but you need to want to learn, why you're good at that thing. And there's like many, many levels to it. I think people that are just in general not good at a task are gonna search harder and look harder to try to be better at that task, than someone that's already like very, very, very good, especially early on. Maybe later, if the talented person sees that they can make a living off of this thing, they may want to be like Kobe Bryant and become a student of the game, right? Rest in peace. Um, I think you should not ever want to learn from someone that isn't a student of the game. And there's many aspects to the game. Like I said, we use Russ as an example. He outsources some of that to me, and then but there are things that Russ is very very good with, in terms of like motivation, getting people in the right mindset. He's literally probably one of the most inspiring, motivating people in powerlifting right now. Um, and hopefully for a very long time. He just gets people in the right mindset to like want to be better, right? I mean, he watches anime. Come on. Now, I don't want this to be, I keep using him as an example, but that's the example that I feel that I can best relate to you guys, because you guys, I feel like most of you guys wouldn't know him, wouldn't know me and not him, and vice versa. Um, yeah. So just still looking at my notes here. So yeah, one last couple things. Like it comes, so wanting to be good at something or search for information to the point where you can be a desire, like an authority on it, comes from, you have to have that internal desire. You have to not maybe not so be as good at it. So you have to try even harder. You have to search for answers a little bit harder, to give that to people. Um, you know, they say that the best athletes aren't necessarily the best coaches. I think that comes from I can't even speak right now. I think that comes from or for a variety of reasons. One of those reasons being, the athlete, like right now, I don't care what anybody says. Okay, I don't give a shit what anybody says. You cannot argue this with me. I think that if a lifter in this current, like right now, is 100% truly, this is a very extreme case, truly hyper focused and being the best possible athlete they can be. They want to be the number one athlete that they can possibly be. That will consume every part of their being. That will consume everything, right? All their mental space, all their everything, right? So they are not going to be able to uh, coach to the same capacity that they could be the best athlete that they can possibly be. Powerlifting is a little bit different because you could coach a bunch of like intermediate people, and still really focus on your lifting, and then just kind of like shift attention when the time comes, and still be able to do well in both. But I think a lot of there are lifters for sure that are like very 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 focused on their lifting, and they would perhaps be, because they are competitive, they are ranked very very high. But it can take away a little bit from their ability to want to find answers, or things like that, because they're like, well, I got to this point. I got to this point doing what I was doing, even if it's inefficient, even if it's, there's clearly better ways to go about something. They use their own performance as validation for the things that they spread or the things that they share. And I think anyone in sports or anything like that would agree. It makes sense that they would do that, but they have to look at it from the perspective of someone, who wasn't in their position, that's not using their own. I mean, you could just chalk it up to this. You don't want to use only your own performance, as what you should be telling everybody else to do. You can use yourself as maybe one small example, but like, if I have 100 people and I'm constantly getting information from those 100 people, I'm gonna have a lot better ability to get a point across, or kind of give out a more generalized piece of advice, which inevitably should be taken and then individualized, right? Um, Rather than someone that's only using themselves as an example, right? If you're only using yourself and your God-given abilities as an example to how you got to your level, um, I mean, I don't understand how anyone could take that and think that it would work for them. This is just a sort of a reminder of that. I hope that I'm getting my point across here. I'm not trying to be like combative or anything. I just think that, like, with great power comes great responsibility, right? So if you have something that others want, especially if it's like a physical ability, or you're really good at something and other people want to be like that, you just have to be responsible with the advice that you give out. And it's okay to say, I don't know, let me go ahead and bring someone in that knows what they're talking about, or that's not my specialty, or I have opinions, but you know what I mean. um, that's all that I'm really saying. And I'm not trying to put anyone down or anything like that, but like, you just have to be very careful where you get your information from, um, and just look out for yourself. And at the end of the day, if you could do all that, then you're gonna be good to go. And the advice that I give you when it's like doing background checks on people, you could follow them for a little bit and try to build some equity with them, right? See, like, are they only posting themselves? Are they posting others? Are they, you know, are is this person someone that I want to take advice from and apply it to myself. Take it with a grain of salt, try it out, see if it works. But yeah, if it kind of sounds crazy and this person is obviously an anomaly, then I mean, in powerlifting, here's the thing: because it's such an open thing, anybody can do it. Anybody can try what this person is saying. But like to attempt to dunk, for example, not everyone's just going to be able to like dunk. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, if you guys have further questions or don't understand what I'm trying to get across, you could let me know in the comments below. But just be careful who you take advice from. I'm repeating myself a million times over. Thank you guys so much for being here. Um, Let me get a hashtag eyes open. Hashtag eyes open. Eyes up, eyes open in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for coming out to the streams. For those of you guys that don't know, I do streams over on Twitch. I either just chill with people and do my lifting streams, or, and this is what everybody wants to see because you guys fucking tell me all the time, I will literally program. I'll give a set context. I'll give a context, right? I'll say like, yo, this is what we're gonna program today, and then I'll just program it, and I will explain literally everything that I'm doing. I explain it as I go. I'm just like thinking out loud and answering questions as I go. The feedback for that has been awesome, and it makes me very happy to know that you guys are really you guys are digging it. So I mean, especially in this lockdown, if I have the time, I figured why not. I probably I'm probably not going to be doing this when we go back to normal. But I do think it is creating a sort of it's opening doors. Let's just say that it's opening doors. But yeah, guys, eyes open in the comments below, and I'll see you guys later in the squat stream today or in the next video. Later.